Hi guys, this is Jenna Moser and welcome to my Tech Tips Screencast. I was assigned Podomatic, which is this really cool website where you can create your own podcasts. And throughout this project, I learned that podcasts are actually really useful in the education world. You can use them to improve language literacy skills in your English language learners students, and also it helps students analyze storytelling and writing technique. So first we're going to go to podomatic.com and create an account. So sign up with email. I just used my school email and I didn't find any age restrictions, but in my future classroom, I think I would make a one classroom account and allow all my students to use it. And I think it would be easier to just have all the students work together so everyone could easily see their classmates' projects. And I also tried looking around to see if it was possible to make my profile private, but I couldn't find anything, so I emailed their customer service associates about it, and I'm just waiting to hear back. So once you create your account and log in, it'll bring you to this homepage. And what I really like about this website is that as well as creating your own podcast, you can listen to others. And to do that, you can click on this listen tab and it'll bring you to like your feed. And so I follow one channel, which is called Book Power for Kids. And it's essentially a podcast recorded by children. And for the most part, they're all book reviews. So children are reading books and then doing like their own kind of like a book report and then recording it. And then some of them, they're bringing books to life, so kind of like a movie script, and they're just doing lines, which I thought was really interesting. I thought that I could use that as an idea for a lesson, so I would have kids be in a reading group and have them choose their book and then act it out over a podcast and working together. And according to Trilling and Fadell, team learning projects that involve intense communication and collaboration during the course of the project are excellent ways to develop these skills. To find other podcasts, you can go to the Quick Discovery tab and click on it. It'll split it up into music podcasts and talk podcasts. So at first, we're going to look at the music ones. Now you can see that it splits it up into many different genres. So we're going to look at the pop ones. And as you can see, a lot of these aren't today's artists. Like, you're not going to see any of these or hear them on the radio, but they're more up-and-coming artists who are just trying to get their name out and their sound out to create a name for themselves. And next, we're going to look at the talk podcasts, which are extremely similar to the music ones. They have many different topics, so we'll click on the kids and family ones. And this one is mostly composed of like stories and just some like tips. So you can see that we have like My Little Pony podcast, Cartoon Networks, and then parenting mistakes. And it's just things that you can do as a family with kids. Next, we're going to look into creating a podcast. So you can go over to the Create tab and click on it, and it'll bring you to this page. Now, unfortunately, you have to upload an audio recording, and this Podomatic just puts it all together in creating your podcast. To create an audio recording, if you're on a Mac, you can use GarageBand, or if you're on a Windows computer, you can use Windows Movie Maker, and I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to be using GarageBand. To find GarageBand, you can go over to the toolbar and go all the way up to Finder. You can then go to Applications and you can scroll through till you see GarageBand. To record an audio recording, we're going to be using the voice setting. Now before we do that, you need to look at the input device and the output device to make sure they both say System Settings. Once you see that they both say System Settings, you can hit Choose to open the library. Now, you'll see that it has a bunch of different vocals, and we actually don't need them, so you can click and then delete all of them. And it'll ask you to choose a track type, and we're going to be using the audio one. So you want to make sure that this box is checked. I want to hear my instrument as I play and record. You also want to make sure that the input is under input 1. That's basically saying that it's recognizing the hole that you're going to be putting your headphones in, which is recommended when you're recording podcasts. And you want to make sure that this is connected with a built-in microphone and that you're hearing the sound from the built-in output. Once you've made sure that all those are checked, you can hit Create, and it'll bring you to this screen. So you don't really need all this. It's a lot more complex than what we're doing. So if you click on the GarageBand, you'll get this toolbar up here, and you can hit View and Hide Library to make it go away. Now before we start recording, there's a couple things we have to check. This button right here needs to be turned off, and then also you need to make sure that these ones are turned off. If it's on, it'll be purple, so you click it to turn it off. We also need to make sure that we have a recording button in here. So to do so, you're going to double click and go down to Configure Track Header, and under Buttons, hit the Record Enable. Now, because I'm recording my final product with a friend, I'm going to rename audio 1 to Jenna so they know that that is my audio, and I'm going to add another one, making sure that it's the same as the others, and changing that to his name, which is Camille. And once you've done that, you're ready to record. To start recording, you can hit this little red dot, which tells your audio that you're going to be recording. You can then hit this red button and start talking. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Jenna Moser, and I'm here today with one of my best friends here at school, Camille Zuzak. I'm going to be doing an interview with him, and for those of you who don't know, he's the next up-and-coming DA of the Year in South Village. And once you are done your recording, you can hit this red button to stop it. If you want to listen to your recording once you finished it, you can hit this button to take it back to the beginning and then listen to it again. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Jenna Moser, and I'm here today with one of my best friends here at school, Camille Zuzak. I'm going to be doing an interview with him, and for those of you who don't know, he's the next up-and-coming DA of the Year in South Village. If you like what you hear, we can now save it. To be able to upload it to Podomatic, we have to share it with iTunes. So you can click up here, so you get this toolbar up here, and you go Share Song to iTunes. And I'm going to name it Jenna and Camille's Sample Track. And I'm going to hit share so it goes into my iTunes library. And it'll download and condense, and it'll show up under your playlist. And it should play right away. To make it easiest to find when I'm uploading, I'm simply going to drag it and put it right here onto my desktop. It's now time to go back to Podomatic to finish uploading. We can hit Add Files, and then hit Desktop, and click on Jenna and Camille's Sample Track. And then hit Start Upload, and it should only take about a couple seconds. Once it's done uploading, you can then enter a title and description. I'm going to be naming it Jenna and Camille's Sample Track. And then for the description, I'm just going to put Podcast Sample. Once you've entered a name for your podcast, you can then add an image that acts as an album cover for it. To do this, you hit Choose File, and you can go under Media and Photos and choose a picture from your photo library. You click on the picture that you want to use and then hit Choose and Upload, and it'll come up with options to crop it. If you like the positioning of your picture, you can then move on to choosing a quality level. I'm going to keep it at the music setting because it's high quality transcoding with a larger file size. I'll then hit Continue and then publish my episode. It should only take a couple seconds before it's up. To watch the episode you just recorded, you can go over to your profile and click Profile, and then click on your own podcast, and click on the one that you just uploaded. You can then hit the play button to hear the podcast. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Jenna Moser, and today I have a very special guest with me, my best friend at school, Camille Zuzak. For those of you who don't know him, he's the next up-and-coming DA of the Year in South Village.
Oh my god, I'm so happy to be here. I've heard so much about this podcast.
I appreciate you taking time out of your busy DA days to come onto my show and answer a couple questions for me.
Of course, and if I wasn't at the desk, I'd be here anyway.
That's very true. And for my first question, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Philly. I would characterize myself as funny and dramatic. My birthday is June 18th, so I'm a Gemini. And if you couldn't tell, Mercury's in retrograde, so my life is basically falling apart.
Okay, so let's change the subject. So what are some things you like to do around Millersville?
Well, I'm a psychology major, and I really like studying the mind and the behavior of people. I either want to get my PhD in clinical psychology and become a therapist, or I'm considering going to medical school and getting my medical degree in psychiatry and possibly just being a therapist and also prescribing people with what they need. Some possible hobbies I'd like to do. Well, I like to go on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, YouTube, everything. I like to just chill, and I like going to McDonald's a lot. That's a thing.
Okay, Camille, well, it looks like that's all we have time for today. Is there something you wanted to say?
Yeah. Do you want to order Sugar Bowl?
Thank you for watching, and have a good weekend.